Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Are you excited? Are you in a good mood? I'm in a good mood and I'm very excited as well. I hope you are ready to watch this episode because I think we're going to be doing something absolutely awesome today. We're going to be building a mob farm. That's right, a mob farm. And it's going to be a pretty interesting one as well. And I'm not going to tell you what exactly it is just yet. The title of the episode might have given it away because that is something that I tend to do. But before we get into building this mob farm, there are a couple of things that I need to do and a couple of things that I need to talk about. First of all, I want to say thank you for all your support on the videos, as always, with the likes and the comments. I really do appreciate it, and if you want to like this video, of course, it will be appreciated. But today, we're going to be doing something epic, and I also have some really cool news. Take a look over in that corner, and if I just get rid of that void fog, you can see that I finished terraforming well, that's not the correct term, but you know what I mean. I've done all of this landscaping. In fact, that is the correct term. Someone corrected me that. Wow, English, not good. Yes, someone left a comment and corrected me on that. This is called landscaping, not terraforming, and it's done. The entire area is done. And that means there are just a couple of more things we need to do before we can say that the Wastelands project has finally been completed. Probably about 10 or 9 months after we started it. We've got to remove the sugarcane farm over there, which is something I will do, but today we're going to be removing the gold farm. It has sat over there looking very strange and providing us with lots of gold for a long time. It certainly did its job, but it's time for it to go, and we're going to take it down with a little bit of a time lapse, I think. That's it, it's gone, we are done with it. The gold farm has been removed. When I originally built that, I did say it was going to be a temporary farm. That's why it looks so ugly, and it has certainly served its purpose, but taking it down took some time. The obsidian does not remove itself, and now we actually have tons of the stuff, so check it out. We got a double chest over here, and some more in this one right here as well. But this is my cameraman who helped film the time lapse. You can see he has a new skin. The previous one was a weird snapshot one that actually maybe many of you didn't realise. But anyway, I made this skin in celebration of UHC. I decided for the next season of UHC I thought I'd wear a different skin. That's why it's got that golden yellow to represent the golden apple. And then I decided why don't I just put that skin on my cameraman instead of waiting. So now we got this guy right here. I think that looks really funny when we stand next to each other. But UHC is over. I can now talk about it. Our team won. We played really well, and most of the action went down in the last episode. So if you weren't interested in UHC that much, be sure to go and check it out, at least the last episode, because that's where all the action happens. I got a couple of kills myself. I think it was 3 in total, and it was pretty crazy. I'll probably talk about it in more detail another day, but I had a lot of fun playing UHC. We played really well. We won, and we're going to do another season at some point in the future. And it's probably going to be sooner rather than later as well, but I'm not sure how much I can talk about that. But there will be a season 2 as well. Yes. Yes, there will. Won't there? Can you guess where we are right now? We are up in the sky, above a desert. This is the location for our new mob farm. This is where we're going to be building it, just over there. And I've done a little bit of preparation here. I built us a nether portal. We got these chests, and we got a ladder down to the surface, which I hope I won't be using too much, because that means we'll be falling down. We are building this entire thing above the old build limit, so we are at 129 right now. And if you look over in this direction, you can see the map, which is one of the recent projects that we've worked on. So if I move my cursor over here and you look at the right of the screen, you can see the corner of that. So the Wastelands is over in that direction, and this desert I almost picked for the Wastelands as well. There were two of these really big ones quite close to each other, and I picked the other one because it was a little bit bigger and a little bit closer to everyone else as well. But I might have chosen this site. But anyway, this is going to be the site of our mob spawner, and I'm going to start building it real soon. I just wanted to explain it after I've built a little bit of it, so you can understand what exactly we have done so far this episode. But I have a little bit more preparation to do. I've got to do some trips back and forth to the Wastelands and get some materials ready, but then we will start building this. There's something I got to tell you about me. I am a psychic. I know exactly what you are about to be thinking. You're going to be thinking, Asuma, you're crazy, you're mad, what on earth are you doing? Let's turn around. That's right, we're going to be building a gold farm. And you're probably thinking I'm crazy. I just tore one out over at the base, and now I'm building another one. What on earth am I doing? Well, if you look at the size of this thing, we're going to be building the most enormous gold farm that there is. And the temporary one that we had, it was just not the right design, so that's why I had to tear it down. It also gave me some more obsidian to build this. Let's ender pearl down below so you can see the design of this thing. Now this farm is going to be extremely space efficient and compact, and also high capacity as well. And when I say space efficient and compact, it certainly doesn't look like it, does it? But given the nature of how the portals work, that is pretty cool. So we have 9 of them in a group like this. The reason I've gone for this layout is because we save on a lot of obsidian. So the previous farm, the entire thing, had 12 portals, and it used 1008 obsidian, and that gave us 12 portals, whereas this one uses half the amount, so it's 504, and it gives us 9 portals. So I think in total we get 6 extra portals. That's the note that I've made. Yeah, if we used the same amount of obsidian in the previous farm, we would have ended up with 6 extra portals in total. So this thing is going to be efficient with the amount of obsidian. Now the reason that it's built like this is because in this game, when you're 32 blocks away from a mob, that mob is not going to move unless it's newly spawned. So when these pigmen spawn in, they're going to fall down onto the obsidian from wherever in the portal they spawn, and then they're going to be able to move for a couple of seconds, and then they'll stop moving if the player is 32 blocks away. So because of this, it means that I have to be in the center of this farm in order for it to work. So we're going to have a minecart track that takes the player right into the center. They sit there, and then all of this surrounding area means that the pigmen will be able to move and walk off the edges into a collection area. So if we were to expand it any more in that direction or up and down, then there would be areas where the pigmen wouldn't be able to spawn. So that is why the design is like that, and it's going to look absolutely awesome when this thing is done. We're going to expand it, of course, in either direction. There's also going to be some portals in the middle surrounding the position where the player sits, and this thing is going to be absolutely epic. It is going to get a ridiculous amount of gold. Now the reason that I started building this was because I was actually chatting to Mumbo in game. We were just talking about the gold farm because he's recently been doing that over on his videos in his Hermitcraft series, and it got me a little bit inspired. We were just talking a bit about different designs, and I decided, you know what, I want to just have a go at building the most ridiculous gold farm there is. How much gold can we get from one of these things? So I went into a test world, and one thing I've learned is that you're going to be a little bit limited with what you can do, because the more portals you have, you're going to create a lot of lag. However, we are still going to be able to make something that is ridiculous. And yeah, so he kind of inspired me to do this, and I think you guys are really going to like this. And also on his videos, he was using purple glass alongside the portals because they matched, and that is something that I want to do as well. Actually, that looks really cool. And I've gone and placed glass in here, which isn't the best of starts, But we need to get some dye to do that. You know, I've put down a load of furnaces over here. They're all smelting lots and lots of glass because we're going to need a whole bunch of this to build this thing. And I think we want to head over to Hermit Town and buy ourselves some more flowers so we can get the dyes to do this. One of the great things about Hermitcraft is the shops. If ever you need something, there's a whole bunch of shops to get different materials and tools and all sorts. And today we need some dyes because I'm out of flowers. And what makes this sweet is that the payment is in gold. So here we are getting some building materials for our gold farm, and we have to pay with gold. That is awesome. So I'm going to take 2 stacks. I think it said 10 is 1 gold bar, so 64, basically 7 each. And let's just drag it out like that, and there we go. Job done. So I'm on my way back to the site of the portal, and I've just realised something. Stained glass, you know, it can cause a little bit of lag. If you didn't know this, if you have lots of stained glass in an area, it can start to cause FPS problems. And the other thing is that portals are animated. They're also transparent, and I can't help but feel that we might create a little bit more lag at our farm if we use stained glass instead of the regular glass, which is a little unfortunate. So after that long trip, I've just realised that maybe that's not the best idea. Now I kind of want to push with this farm. It's out in an area where it's not going to affect anyone, so if we're not there it's not going to cause problems. However, when we're there, I kind of want to push it. I want the FPS to be, you know, pushed a little bit so we can get tons and tons of gold, but this thing is going to be very laggy, so it's probably not a good idea to do the stained glass, and once I put it all in, it's going to be an absolute pain to remove, so I think we'll actually just stick with the regular glass, which by the way doesn't cause any lag. Oh man, when I built this, I didn't really think about what it would be like to build it in survival. When I say when I built this, I mean in creative mode, because I've done a whole bunch of building and testing beforehand, but right now what I've done is I've built another segment of portals in the middle. This one is in the shape of a C, which we're not really going to be able to see from here, so you can imagine that there's 3 portals across the bottom, 1 in the middle at the back, and then 3 at the top. And the reason we're doing it like that is so that we can run our track into the middle. Now one of the things that I could have done is maybe made a smaller portal above where the track goes through, but then it means that the portals are going to be out of line with each other, and we don't want that because we have these trapdoors, so the pigmen are going to be walking off the edges here, and we always want it to be in line like this, so it means that the pigmen in the middle can walk over to the left or the right, and the ones over here will walk off to the other side as well. And I've got it like this at the moment, which is pretty handy to get across, because walking around this thing is really difficult, as you can imagine. However, that works out nicely. And what we're going to do in between each of these obsidian bits is just have some glass that goes all the way up to the top, which I've done at the back here, so they're all going to be divided up. But I've just done the bottom bit, and it has taken a lot of resources to do. I've gone through a ton of jungle wood, which we got in the last episode, just on all of these trapdoors, and we're going to go through a whole bunch of glass as well. This thing is really going to be, yeah, a huge farm, and it's going to take some time to do, but it's, you know, it's not that difficult to place all of this, so it won't be long before I've got all of this done. This is truly an epic structure. Building this has been so much fun. It's really cool to do a nice big building project like this from time to time, and I think one of the enjoyable things is that you don't have to worry about aesthetics or anything like that. Everything here is functional, and I am just enjoying putting it all together. So I have done all of the glass, well, not all of it, we'll talk about that in a second, but I've done all of the trapdoors on each of the layers and the strips of glass that go between it to divide off the layers. And the bit of glass that I need to do is the bit that goes in the middle here where the portal would have been. So it's going to be at the height of the player's head, so when a player is in a minecart and then they come up here to use the farm, their block is, or sorry, their head is going to be inside the block going all the way to the end here, and that's because this thing is going to be too high, so there's a small chance that pigmen could fall down and land on the edge of it, which we don't want. So this is going to be the only too high block bit, and then when we're sitting here we AFK, we farm, and then we press this button when we want to leave. And why did that not work? That should work. Let's move forward a little bit. Did I put down a powered rail? I did, okay. Now it's going to throw me off the end here. Oh, that's right, I put that block there. Okay, that should work because the button should power the powered rail down below. Let's do that again. Okay, and then when I'm sitting in it, apparently it doesn't like it when I'm sitting in it. That's interesting. Huh. Okay, let's just come back a couple of blocks. We can see the powered rail. So we're going to go forward. No. So I think I've sussed this thing out. If we press that button, you can see the powered rail turns on. We just need a solid block here, because that then causes the minecart to push away, I do believe. Yes. Aha, we got it. Excellent. Right, let's continue with this. And substantial progress has been made. Look at this. It is getting bigger. It is crazy. We have extended it another 9 portals on either side. This thing has 43 portals in total at the moment. We are going to be getting a ridiculous amount of gold from this thing. Now we want to go down and have a look from down below. It's good to see it from down there from time to time. You can see all of that glass that we got in place in the middle sections as well. That's to stop the pigmen from going into that area, so they're going to fall all the way down to the bottom. So the next thing for us to do is actually to start work on the water streams that are going to go underneath, and that's going to lead to a crusher in the middle, and that's going to send the items out and up to a platform we're actually going to have up there. I built that one in the wrong place, so I wanted to have a portal away from this thing so it wouldn't interfere with it on the side of the nether. And then the rail is going to go straight across to that platform where we're going to be picking up our items. Now at the moment I'm wrestling with the idea of when are we going to light this thing up. Do I make it as big as I can? I think I built it, or I can build it a little bit bigger than I did in the creative world. And that would mean it would be laggier, which I think the server and the game could handle when I'm over here. Yeah, it definitely could, but I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to light it up before I finish building it, which I think will probably end up being a bad idea because I tend to hop around on the obsidian a lot. So we'll make that decision now actually. I'm going to use up all the obsidian I can to make this thing as big as possible. So the water system is now in place. I thought I'd give you a little look around at how this works just before we move on to the next thing, which will be the crushers underneath this. So we have water streams going down like this, then there is a sign there and another one there, so the water here at the top can flow down, and that means that all of the pigmen are just going to get pushed along. And then at the middle we have a hole with a sign on the side, so they'll all get pushed down there, and that's where we can put our crushers down below. So this is the kind of setup. I put in some glass so you can see it from the outside, although I don't think we're ever going to be adjacent with this thing to really look and see the pigmen falling down, but you have that just in case it's ever going to be useful. So now what I have to do is just build this last one, working my way backwards. So I'm just going to put a sign here and here, and I do believe I've filled in all of the gaps here. Yep, you can see there's glass on all of it, so let's just put that there. Okay, so the next thing for me to do is to finish this and then start work on the crushers. They are not in place just yet. Before building them I decided, you know what, we have to go to the max for this thing. We really do have to go all out, and so I decided to build an additional 2 rows of portals on either side. That's 36 more portals in total, and this thing is going to be absolutely killer. Look at it, it's enormous. It's taken me hours to put in those extra rows, but it's going to be worth it in the end. And I was just thinking, you know what, this is well and truly my biggest build I've ever done in survival, with the exception of the wastelands, although it's kind of a different thing. It's not really a build, it's landscaping. But yeah, this is all ready to go up here now. So once we've built the crushers, I'll be going up there and lighting everything, and then the portal will pretty much be ready for us to use. So let's get these crushers out of the way, and then we'll be able to fire this thing up and do a test. We are almost there now. I'm getting really excited now that the crusher has been put into place. I can smell it, I can smell the gold. This is all about to happen. But let me explain to you quickly what's going on with the crusher here. We have a simple EFO hopper clock, and what we've done on this side is just extended it with some repeaters, which is the simplest way I could think of doing this, and I think it's about to unpower. There we go. So it creates a slight delay. You can see that the power going in there is off for a little bit longer. So at the moment with this being on, it's passing the signal through a bunch of repeaters that are above each of the piston crushers, which I can't actually show you because I've kind of boxed myself in here doing this little bit. But I thought I'd show you it just before I close it up, because this thing is way up in the sky, and whenever the light updates from, I was about to say the comparators, that's not actually so, but the repeaters, and I think in 1.8 they won't give light updates anymore, but those light updates will drop all the way down to the bottom, and that will cause a lot of lag. So the entire thing here has been completely boxed in, and now I've got to think about how I'm going to get over to this other side. Can I place a block there? I can, that's good. If we drop down here and make ourselves a little path, you'll be able to see where the pistons are. So they're all extended because that clock is powered, and then they retract for a moment and then extend again. And I haven't actually checked this to see if it's long enough or not. Come on, there we go. And then, yeah, that's plenty of time for the pigmen to drop down. So let's just remove a couple of blocks so you can see. On this side, the pigmen are going to fall down on top of this block. That means they can't get back out again. Then when it retracts, they fall down, they get crushed, and the hoppers pick up the items. Now, one of the other things we need to do here is build an item transport system, but we are going to save that for another day because I have done so much work this episode, it is ridiculous. And right now, I just want to light up these portals and see this thing in action. This thing is absolutely crazy, and believe it or not, it's not even lagging. I am getting really good FPS around here. Actually, it's a little bit stuttery now that we move away, but it is certainly performing a lot better than the test world, and it's night time as well. I am curious if things can spawn on the top of this, but as of right now, I am absolutely exhausted. This has been a huge task to put all of this together, and my sound is turned down. We're only going to have it up by 1% because all of these portals are going to make an extreme amount of noise. And when I was lighting all of those up, by the way, I had one flint on steel on me, and then I thought, well, there's more than 64 portals here, so I'll have to go and grab another one. A small mistake I almost made, and that's one of those things that can be really annoying when you're recording a little time lapse of you doing something. You can make a simple mistake and then you can end up ruining the time lapse. But if we go around to the front here, you may notice that I've made a slight modification. I needed to lower the hoppers down by one block and put half slabs on them. That allows the pigmen to go into the middle easier, and they also get crushed a little quicker because what they can do is jump up on top of where they are being crushed. So this is our only way of getting to the chest at the moment, and that is fantastic. I've been AFK for about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, and there's definitely enough there, if you have a look, 9 going across, to make ourselves a stack of gold ingots. That is fantastic. There's more coming in right now. I think we can safely say that this project has been a success, and judging on how well the game is performing while I'm recording, I'm thinking this thing could even be expanded in the future as well, which would be absolutely insane. Imagine adding more portals to this. But there is still a lot of things that I want to talk about with this. You know, there's a whole bunch of testing that I did beforehand that I was planning on showing at the end of this episode, but as of right now, I'm a little bit knackered, so I want to show you one potential problem that we have. If we go through this portal, there is no one hooked up for the ones over there, so the pigmen are going to come through on this side, and I have no idea how much extra gold I just picked up. You saw maybe a stack on the ground there because all of this is now full, and I probably picked up all of this rotted flesh, right, because I didn't take it out of the chest. And a couple of pigmen came through as well, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next episode. As of right now, I think I'm going to have to call it a day. If you have enjoyed this video, and that looks interesting, please do leave a like. As always, it will be appreciated. You know, these things that we do in this game, they're a team effort. It's not just me building this, it's you guys as well. I would probably never do something like this if I didn't have an audience motivating me to play. So that will be it. We'll come back to this in the next episode. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.